Hey, happy Friday.
Yo.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
We're back. Prevention Live Friday. Yeah, weekly.
Weekly. We're here.
Oh, man, we got Nas here. I'm excited.
What's up, guys? Staying
Buddy.
consistent. 6 weeks in a row. Nice.
Six weeks in a row.
Could be worse.
Hey.
Could be 8. Could be 10. So.
Could always be better.
I'm super excited to talk about EDR Killers on a Friday. Sounds like a Friday topic. Maybe a topic that needs more spirits for some of us than others.
It's like nighttime in certain places.
Yeah.
EDR Killer time. Oh man, look at that! We got the first comment.
First, as in the conference first. Oh.
No, I guess.
Nah,
Ricky Bobby first. If you're not first, you're last. You know. Oh man! All right, so here.
I logged in through the browser this time, so I'm going to see the chat. I'm not going to look this up anymore.
Oh, there is an app for this.
Yeah, there's an app.
Okay.
But don't use it.
I didn't know because I'm on the browser and it sucks, right? So.
Yeah, I don't like browser, but you know what? We'll make it work.
Scooby is here. Everyone is here. Like we're Smash. Like Smash Brothers.
Super.
You gotta specify. Hey, you never know.
That is a super good segue for our super duper agenda over here, right? Of today. What do you got? Episode 6, right? EDR Killers. Why are EDRs having a we have better words for this, I feel. Like, why is it hard for EDRs to stop EDR killers? Does that make sense? We're starting strong, right? We're going to dig into this.
Why is it hard being an EDR to stop an EDR killer?
It's hard life being an EDR in 2026. It's just hard, you know? Like
There's a song.
It is.
There's a song there.
There's a song in there. Claude, rap for me. Go. Bring your own vulnerable. We'll talk about bringing your own vulnerable driver and the rise of the amount of PRs we're getting low drivers. And again, I guess to stay consistent, our closing thoughts are Kyle choking on the best EDR solutions in the market. Or I think that's a cow choking, right? That's what the meme said.
I guess.
So bad.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. Hold on. I'm gonna pull up really quickly. I promised that I was gonna kick this off by just showing the pull requests and load drivers. And then we can go from there. It's gonna be downhill from there, right? Like
it's already done.
No, I don't
right.
know.
You guys merged all the pull requests.
From here. Yeah, it's only up.
You guys
from
merged
here,
all the pull requests from this thing. What is that?
Zoom in. We need
enhance.
Zoom in. Enhance. Yeah, that's
enhance. CSI Miami enhanced. All right. So every 3 hours, Mike, you just went and merged all of them. I love this.
Dude.
Yeah, I would say probably the last 10-ish are all EDR killers.
It is
none have been shared by EDR vendors. So just
course.
to set the table stake.
Yes. And by the way, every single load driver is an EDR killer if you really think about it. So. if you think too hard, if you squint your eye,
they're coming for you.
For those not familiar with load drivers, it's tracking vulnerable drivers or already those that have been converted to EDR killers, I guess, at some point. I don't know. Nas, would you explain what an EDR killer is for the uneducated, the unindoctrinated?
Hey, that's me, right? I thought I'm explaining load driver.
All right, we're back live. Sorry, awesome. I pressed the wrong button.
I told you it's going downhill. So
It was a dangerous response. That's why we cut it.
Exactly.
bring him up. Who said that? Who said?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What's an EDR killer? Really?
All right. Well, what's an EDR killer? It's in the name, I guess. Basically, it's something that kills an EDR at its basic form, right? And the most known form of it is utilities that can leverage drivers, right? That's why you bring your own driver. There is a driver out there that's typically signed and accepted, and the developer mistakenly put something, and somebody figure out a vulnerability. That vulnerability usually gives you access to the kernel because drivers live in the kernel, right? So with that, you can technically access the same layer as an EDR. And the power comes by it living in the kernel, because most EDRs are protected by this layer between user mode and kernel mode. And by installing these drivers, you can now circumvent that and attack them directly, which entail you can kill them by basically, right? So that's the TLDR of it.
I love TLDRs, by the way. What?
Oh, yeah.
So I guess, and not like. I feel like I have my answer to this, but like, what? Why is it rising? Like low drivers, last 10 have been EDR killers, right? Why is this just rising, man? Like, it's just the last. We had a chart somewhere, I think in our presentations, where we show like the amount of like bring your own vulnerable driver attacks has just completely spiked in the last 3-4 years. What do you think that is?
I think mainly, not mainly, but there are many reasons, to be fair, right? Like if you follow how the EDR space is evolving, it's getting trickier and trickier to bypass an EDR, right? Like, so many components exist at the EDR layer. You could detect things. It's very tricky to bypass the EDR, right? If you don't know what you're doing. But EDR killers are like offer the best scenario, right? The best case scenario, which is you have this legitimate utility, right? Which is a driver, right? Handled by a service layer, like a user mode, which usually is a service. Like, that driver exists in so many shapes and forms. And it's super powerful that you don't have to think twice about what the EDR is doing. The fact that you can install it, most of the time EDRs are not even aware of it, and then you get immediately like access to the EDR and you can kill it. So it is on the lucrative side, like it is on the easy side too, right? And people are investing a lot of time, like we've seen with this like gentleman ransomware. Like, with every campaign they bring a bunch of drivers with them, right? Like, and those drivers are like unique. Nobody knew about that exploit before, or it's very well hidden, or it's very well not known, I guess. But yeah, that's, in my opinion, that is the big factor of it, right? Like, it's very similar to how we see people exploiting the living of the land in RMM sites. I know we didn't touch on RMMs, but like, that's why all RMMs exist, is that RMMs exist because they are legitimate, and they offer insane power, and they cut the middleman. Instead of figuring out how the driver, it's hooking this, or it's subscribing to this notification from the kernel, or it have this or that. You don't care, right? Like, you execute the driver and voila, it's dead, right?
A driver's a driver.
With a risk. Yeah, exactly. It comes with a risk, you killing the EDR, which is a high risk, high reward, I guess, because now you can do whatever. But if a smart sock exists, you can see that the EDR is dead. But that I think that is the main factor of them rising. And things like ease of exploitation right now. Like, I don't want to mention AI this early, right? Especially when we went offline.
It's too early in the morning.
Offline again. Yeah. I don't want to go offline again. I don't know who's watching, but like, I don't know. Maybe, but to be fair, like the AI portion of this thing that I wanted to mention is, you can bring a driver right now that is literally unknown, right? And if there is a public CVE for it, or you can give it to AI, right? Hook it to Ghidra with some MCP and tell it to find, hey, give me the ioctls and give me the device name and let me interact with it. And it'll do that, right? And that's insane. So technically anybody can become an EDR killer nowadays. So that's that.
If you believe it,
Mean.
I was gonna throw this up. I was gonna throw this up really quickly. Actually, I really honestly, this report by ESA, I loved it. I remember reading it as it came through, and I'm like, wow, this is actually really really good research. Pretty cool stuff to see. Honestly, we pride ourselves on being on top of drivers that are exploitable, and the fact that we had none of these was like, oh man, this again, pretty notable stuff. Like we immediately try to like Mike, actually, you got it into low drivers, I think within like the same day, right? This landed. Um, this is pretty like the fact that these guys were just using this and selling it as a service, right? That's what I understood out of this. Like they're selling this to other gangs to abuse.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, but that's the interesting part. By the way, here is a fun fact for OG LOL drivers, right? Me and Mike and you, and who contributed very, very early. One thing when we were collecting the drivers is something you learn is there are infinite drivers. Like literally, it's not even a joke, because sometimes a driver exists. Like let's pick a random driver, and we check its version, and this is version number 10, right? So there exists 10 version before it without patch fixes. Well, let's not assume that. If a vulnerability is discovered in version 10, right? Sometimes it's not, but most of the time it's backward compatible, aka it exists in all versions. So it's not about blocking this single hash. You'll have to track down every other version, or else you're screwed, right? That's why sometimes in the EDRs, like in this space, it's tricky to block them, because that's why like app locker and all of those cool stuff come in, because then you can block at the signer level, right? It's signed by the same guy or people, then you can block them.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's the tricky part. A lot of people, like when you see LOL drivers, double that down, right? Times 2, times 1,000. That's probably like, that's why you see when ESET published something like that, it is interesting, but it's not super surprising that there exists so many. So
I think it's wild that this is still increasing, and I don't know, like we've looked at I mean, I think both of you guys know deeply how EDRs operate, and I feel like a lot of vendors are trying to build protections around this, or like way to protect their own kernel driver as it's running so it doesn't get killed. But it like we're truly in a cat and mouse game, and they're the mouse in this case. Like EDRs are never usually the mouse, right? Like they're usually the cat, right? But in this case, that story's flipped, right? Like from what I'm seeing, right? By the way, kudos. I'm gonna murder his name, but Jacob Soskek, he's a researcher on the ESET paper. Kudos to him, man. This is great work. Just threw his X in there. But yeah, I feel like why are EDR vendors some reactions? Why are EDR vendors the mouse in this case? Like, can they get under from this? Like in my mind, it would require them to completely re-architect the way that they're detecting stuff on an endpoint to not be vulnerable to EDR killers. Really, to like solve it, right? Or I mean, how? And I'm sure there's 50 ways to stop a driver from killing you, but it's a cat and mouse game. Like to your point of there's so many drivers out there, right?
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna let Mike also speak his mind after this, but like I'm gonna say this, like architecturally, it's tricky. Like on Windows, right, or in Windows, like the kernel is superpower. So the moment you go into the kernel, it's already over. So you could do certain tricks, right? Like we've seen with how other people like use Yara to scan, to hook certain processes that create the services. You can do certain tricks and monitor for some things, but overall, it's like the game is skewed toward the vulnerable driver people, because that's how it is. You cannot completely vanish this problem, except if you go down and not focus on the EDR itself, right? Like it's like the classic analogy that people would give in incident response. You install Sysmon and you install an EDR, so that when someone stops the EDR, Sysmon alerts and vice versa, right? Like that, it is true. Like the detection level in certain cases, it's super bad, because imagine you have an alert that says a service is installed, but like in order to get that alert, the driver could could be installed beforehand, or like, right? It's theoretical what I'm talking about here, but like that's what I'm saying. It is a dangerous game, and it's an unfortunate game, right? So I don't know if Mike has extra soul to add or to injuries.
The one thing I've been thinking about is like a lot of these POC ones, and I would say probably the gentleman group too, is they bring in a loader. You know, there's some binary that drops on disk with most of these that loads the vulnerable driver up as well. And I always think it's like, well, why can't the EDR just stop that? Well, it's like it's ultra benign, right? Like it literally is so benign that all it does is load a driver. Many apps load drivers. So it's like you can't just go after all of those type of things. And so it's just like it's really hard for an EDR, especially if it's just detection, right? Like it saw it. It sees the driver being loaded. It sees the driver loaded and chilling. And then all of a sudden the EDR is now gone. You know, it didn't do anything. AV doesn't catch it because, again, it's very benign. And I think it was one of them I was testing. Actually, kind of leads into EDR Choker. When I was testing EDR Choker, it's just a binary, and all it's writing is that QoS policy. And Defender doesn't care because anybody could write a QoS, right? Like anybody could write these things. So there's really no like maliciousness per se. Like there's nothing bad in it. It's not like they're not like they're embedding ICARs in there to really stand out. Like there's really nothing going on.
That is super true, yeah. And that is a whole category of these silencers, right? Like Choker is one type of silencing, like we've seen in EDR Silencer by the name, which does the firewall rule, right? Like the firewall or the other type of rules, which it's interesting. Like there is this Elastic blog from a couple of years back on how they approached the way they stop drivers. And one of them is like looking at the service mode binary, right? So like user mode binary, like that install the service. But it's super tricky, right? Like it is, as Jose said, it is a cat and mouse game. You cannot avoid it. And especially with those silences, like the Choker's case, right? It's indistinguishable from like losing internet connection. And that's fine sometimes, right? So
I shared a tweet. I shared a tweet too, because like I thought it was interesting. Like you can use PowerShell, right, to QoS these things just as much. So it's like you don't even need an EDR. You don't need a binary to come in to write QoS for you. You could just rip it in PowerShell, and then all of a sudden your EDR is chilling.
It's such a native thing to networking. Like kill that. You know what I mean? It's built into network systems. Yeah. Like it's like a native thing, right? It's like hey, I'm gonna go mock with TCP. I don't know. That's a good idea, right? By the way, my contribution to this. EDR Choker. Sorry. Got more memes than I intended today, unfortunately. But
going full screen, removing us from the picture to put it back. We need
put it back. Bring it back. Best EDR solutions, and then
Is that the ones on top or the bottom? Like what? How is this classified?
Listen,
I'm trying to find the one to buy. Come on now.
That's why you have the ADR telemetry project. We can bring Costas back. He knows. He'll tell you. Just don't. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
The other word I was trying to figure out, I know you know this, Nas. I'm trying to think of the right word. When a driver loads, and I think the word in Windows is it elevation? It's not velocity. Is it elevation of its privilege or something like that?
Yeah. Like in what sense?
In kind of like the sense like EDRs live, AV and EDRs live at a certain elevation, and then your kernel driver
altitude.
Altitude. That's the word.
Yeah, you're thinking of altitude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you go to Microsoft, everybody has a different altitude. Like file system drivers, right? Mini filter file system driver live in this specific, and EDRs live in that. But like, dude, if you get kernel, everybody's dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody is dead.
It's the party.
Where does this end though? Like, I guess I keep asking myself that, right? Like, okay, so this is rising, obviously. And we've been tracking it for quite a while now with load drivers. and it's not slowing down. And to your point, like now, anybody who's not a malware reverse engineer, right, which is a very limited set of talents, right, and skill sets, can pop up a Ghidra NCP server, make any of these drivers a killer. So this is not slowing down, and I don't see actors pivoting. Like it felt, and again, keep me honest here, but like 4 or 5 years ago, we would rarely see an EDR killer, and usually it was like a state sponsor actor using it. Usually, right? Like it did not feel like cybercrime, right? Now it's 100% like modulus operandi of a cyber criminal. Like they're just, this is what they're using, right? Like, hey, if you're gonna go ransom somebody, you need here you go. You need an EDR killer, you need ransomware payload, you need something to like ship that payload. Thank you very much. Call me back later, right? Like when does this pivot? When does it stop? And again, this, yeah. Where's Fable? Like, help me, Fable. Please, like, make no mistake, solve it. Sorry, I don't know if I'm asking a very random question, but like,
but that is the true question. But this is where like the discussion shifts a bit, right? Like, do you detect everything? Should you prevent and detect? Should you prevent, right? Like this enters the realm of there are too many variations. It's like going back in the old days, right? Like when people used to write SIGs for malware in forms of IOC, right? If you reverse any Symantec back in the day, you'll see that it was a bunch of SIG, right? Like, and then the ML land came in with this behavioral thinking. And we're living in the same age of like infinite drivers. A new game comes in, it installs an anti-cheat, like the Tower of God or the Tower of something, right? Like that Michael just added. That's a game on Steam, right? They ship the driver, and if you read the write-up, it's actually insane. Right? Like it's a driver full-fledged functionality they give it to you, right? And that's a video game. Now imagine video games, it's an area. Software is another area, and 17 other areas exist. So this is not, I think it's, yeah, you could and you should detect, but this goes into the, like, if you go to the Microsoft block list, which isn't the greatest thing to find all of these, right? That's why all drivers exist. But like, that's where TBS signing comes in. That's why like the authenti hash comes in. That's why we need this issuers, the signers. We need all of these. And the reason is that's how you prevent like a whole category. Like instead of, I don't know, I'm not a doctor. I'm going to give a bad analogy, right? Like, but anyway, instead of curing, I don't know, the bleeding, you cut the tumor. Yeah, the symptoms, that's what I'm looking for. But like, you get what I mean, right? Like, it's to that level, because you could add a hash to a list in your CM and you're happy for 5 minutes and then you're crying the next. I think it's to that level of game, which is, it's the prevention game first here. It tries to maximize everything that you can using stuff like WDAC, AppLocker, or what have you, right? Or even Magic itself in this specific case, because that is the perfect positioning to this specific problem. It is super dangerous, and if you're blinded, like take EDR Choker, if you actually read the blogs and see the screenshot, no one is finding that. Like in a SOC, no one's gonna see that alert. Like, oh, the computer is gone, that the guy is out of office for 2 days or something. Right? I don't know. You see what I mean? Like it's to that level of, I don't know, shit show, I guess. So.
Yeah, I mean, we found success, to your point, in preventing publishers that we know are abused from loading drivers. But even, I would argue, and again, like Mike, keep me honest, but I argue that's also a whack-a-mole kind of game, because you sometimes get new publishers all the time. But it's you got a bigger whacker, for like a bigger hammer to whack with, right? Like a publisher is a much more effective rule than a hash, right? And again, you can clearly see Microsoft trying to some degree to really address this. Mike, you wrote a blog recently on like their new, keep forgetting that, like the new control that like disables cross-sign drivers from executing, but that also has like giant gaps in it, right?
Yeah, and they recently, I think it was like 100 hours or something, where they see no audits, they would move it to enforcement. They upped it to like a higher amount of hours, because I think people were like, you can't just enforce this.
It's rough.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know we're laughing, but like this.
We catch the audit events too. Like we see them. I was, trying to find some stuff going on, and I found like audit events coming from that policy. Like it's out there, it's working and everything, but also if you have audits, it's never going to move to enforcement, so you're just kind of stuck. It's cool, but you'll never know. We just got to start patching, but
yeah. It's rough. It's rough indeed. But like, yeah, I don't want to say a blanket statement, but like baseline.
Say the blanket statement. Baseline.
No. Like I'm gonna say baseline, and everybody would hate me because no, the easiest thing to say, but like the hardest thing to do. But like, yeah, you don't install drivers every day, so why let them install in the first place? Right? Like, and even if you install them or like they're expected, you could whitelist certain locations. You could do smart things to prevent or to limit the exposure, right? Well, like in the Elastic blog that I mentioned, they have at the end like first seen, right? Like this is the first driver that was seen on the fleet, for example. Oh, that's super bad, right? But instead of just detecting it, kill it, dude. Kill it before it kills you. So
yes.
I mean, bare minimum, like the things that people are tracking that are known getting abused, just like baseline, and at least don't load them if you don't need them. Like you go through the load driver list, and it's like, how many of these do you actually need, right, in your environment? And if you don't allow it to run. And don't do it by hashes, because again, you're doing this with a little hammer, right? Like, but there's also things that sometimes I see come across that like, man, like I think AMD is in here, right? Like AMD profiler, like that's gonna be in a bunch of things. I'm assuming
that
like,
Ryzen one at the bottom.
The Ryzen driver, like this has got to be super common, right? So it's like
yeah.
And then how does
those one are bad. Like there is one I found. Well, not I found, but I was like scrolling through load drivers. I believe there is one for like an audio driver, right? Okay, no audio for you. Like disable the goddamn driver. No one's listening to your voice anymore. But like those kind of things. Yeah, those kind of things are. Yeah, I don't know. Best of luck, I guess. Like,
no, I mean,
to be honest, yeah, it's not best of luck, but like, it is like with everything. And I don't want to again say something that's super generic, but with everything in detection, it's a balanced game. You have to admit that you cannot cover everything. Like right, like it's that website or something like we have to put in the DMZ and we have to open to the public. It's an accepted risk that it will get pwned. But at least you create the layers, the necessary layers to, when it's screwed up, at least you know about it. It's the classic app locker thing, which is at least put it in audit mode, right? If we, at least we know, right? It's to that level, I think. So.
It's the saying, perfect is the enemy of good enough. And this is the business is defense in that. Like you need that one audio driver on that one or set of computers, man, at least allow that one driver to run. And to your point, like augment with detections if something, God forbid, happened. But, load drivers has now 2,000 something drivers. Like, don't allow the other 2,000, 199 to run. Like, stop those from running, right? Like it doesn't have to be all or nothing, right? And so I mean, exactly, defense of that. It's definitely going back. Like I love that there's a bunch of research now into it because ransomware gangs are like abusing it a lot more. But I don't know how we, especially like again, I'm sure this is something like EDR vendors are looking at deeply. But they're the mouse in this game right now, unfortunately. Like, I'm
gonna say this. You see, you remember the blog from 2 years ago? How long was it? Microsoft's WESP, where they are getting rid of drivers and every EDR is going out of the kernel and sits on user mode. Maybe that's the solution. I mean, it's not going to be applied to Windows 10, I'm assuming. I don't know, but like maybe that's a limitation to the abuse of kernel, right? Because of cross-strike. So maybe that's one way of it's, as you said beforehand, which is re-architecting the whole EDRs. Everybody, get out of the kernel. Like, we don't need you anymore.
No, what does that mean? We can get rid of kernel drivers, or we can ship Copilot. You got Copilot.
But you know what's funny in that thing? I can always imagine like Microsoft doing this, and then there is always like this option in the registry to allow drivers, like classic Microsoft, right? Like, and then somebody would come and then do dword equal 1, install all the drivers.
I know we're out of time here. I want to flash up our like closing thoughts meme. The last one, I promise you. We were joking. We're a little bit of joke, but is it a meme if I have to explain the meme? I don't know. If anybody's ever played Cyberpunk 2077, right? I wonder which of these match some of these, right? Who's Militech? Who's Arasaka? I have no idea who Trauma Team is. Like, either way, happy Friday. Nas, thank you for joining us, man.
It's good.
Thank you, dude. This has been fun.
Thank you, buddy.
By the way, I gotta mention Sigma, just for the sake of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I gotta
Sigma. Mic drop. Goodbye.
Don't contribute, man.
Oh, man.
All right.
Catch you all around next Friday. Take care.
See ya.
Cheers.